told Jay, let's just do it again. It doesn't get much better than that.
The one word that kind of comes to mind after the tournament and then in this game is just resiliency of your team. Talk a little bit about how those guys just seemingly don't give up and came back from a 10-point deficit.
Well, I mean, they do know how to win. They learned that last year. That's why I told them at the under 4 time. We've been in these games. Now they have 2 by the way. They got 4 starters back. So, and there's really only one answer. At some point, you got to stop them. Now, that's easier said than done because they obviously with putting 4 shooters around the line and backing you down. It's tough to deal with. It's not something you see every day. Excuse me. So, but yeah, I agree with you, Trace. And these guys. Like Peyton Watson's going to, the guy's going to be a lottery pick. He's in there jumping around this year with the best attitude. Their physicality is just really, really, I told you that, really hard to simulate. The way they go after the basketball. It's impressive. I've always been a fan of it. My goal in Cincinnati was to get my team to play as hard as Villanova played. Once we got there, we went to 9 straight tournaments. So I thought it'd be great for us with our goals this year to have to play that. Because you never get, how many times did you think we had to rebound and somehow they got it? They knock it away, they take it away. So yeah, we were relentless, but their efforts were relentless too. Nobody should have lost this game.
Coming out of last season, the COVID season, how was this environment?
It's awesome. Heck, I'd take any environment. It was better than being able to hear my radio guys talking the whole game from last year. But again, I think it's hard. We've talked about this. I see Jeff just walked in. I mean, it's hard to get schedules. We're 20 games, 20 league games now. They played the Gavitt Challenge. It's hard to get games like this. And we actually, to make this happen, we had to agree to skip a year to go back because they have previous commitments. And look, the other thing is, a lot of people don't recruit out here, like why come all the way this way? So there's very few guys as secure as Jay Wright. Right? He's not getting fired. He's hiring people there. He's not getting fired. So, he's secure. He's got 2 titles. He's in the Hall of Fame. So, you got to find somebody like that that's willing to come west. Which is, I'm sure you've been covering the Bruins much longer than I've been coached. It's hard to get people like that here. So I'm very appreciative of that.
Obviously, you have Johnny and Jaime coming back as leading scorers. Everyone was talking about him last March, all offseason, but it's Jules Bernard who has the game-time shot, the bank shot. What does it say about him that he can stand out as an offensive asset, even with all the good guys around him?
Yeah, you guys have been in here, and I don't know if you've noticed this. I purposely just keep talking about Jules because nationally they don't. And I understand why, but Jules could arguably been our MVP last year. Guy's playing backup point guard, starting wing, and has to lead us in rebounding when Chris Smith goes down. He's got 9 rebounds tonight. He's going to play basketball for a long, long time. Jules, he's an unbelievable kid. He never misses practice. He's like the Iron Man. Anytime you give me a question about Jules, it's hard for me to stop talking because he deserves it because nobody talks about it because of Johnny and now Jaime. And Tiger gets a lot of love, but Jules he's a really, really good player. Like I know there's a lot of teams, guys, he would be the best player on some people's teams.
And then I think you guys
We're trying to do all this so he comes back for another year.
I think you guys forced 6 straight missed shots to end regulation and start overtime.
Is that what I was wondering? I told the guys, we held them at 67, where there was no way we were going to catch them. We were on pace to be up 80. And that was our recipe for winning in the NCAA tournament. We had Alabama at 62 until we walked away from the 3-point shooter. We had Michigan at 50 or 49, something like that. It was 2 of the best 5 teams in the country. Can't give up those kind of points. As good as they are, and look, even for them, it's early. It's November 12th, so we've got to get better defensively. You know, and learning how to play with Cody on the fly. You know, learning how to play with Alan.
You were trailing 60-50, and obviously towards the end of regulation, you really caught them and were able to catch them. What did you say to them? What happened in those last few minutes when you were able to outscore them on 17-7?
Well, my message all the time, we had to get some stops. You know, look, when you play a great team, like them or us, guys hit hard shots. It's the breakdowns that get you. Johnny let Slater go left and lay it in. Somebody goes for a shot fake, 1 foot from the basket, gives up an and one. Jaime gave up a baseline drive for a dunk. And that's what beats you. It's not the hard shot. And they've learned that. They know that. They learned that last year. That's how we got to the Final Four. So we got back into that mode and we were able to keep them at 67. I think we said 6 or 7 straight possessions, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, if that don't happen, there is no hope. So, you know, that's an area where we've got to improve. And we just have to improve. But that's why you play a team like that, because they exploit you.
Yeah, maybe this team seems to have a swagger about it. They really seem to play to the crowd, maybe more so than some other teams you've had. Where does that come from? Are you cool with that?
They have more talent. in all seriousness, that I would see, you know, they do believe in themselves, but like when you watch them, even in the huddle, like they believe in themselves. And they know I believe in them. I mean, offensively, you see, we don't compromise. I believe in their talent. Try to get the right matchup that we want. But defensively is, you know, to win championships, you got to be able to stop a really good team. It comes down to who can get a stop. You know, so if you were to fast forward it, right, if we got 7 at the end of regulation, then they would have probably opened the overtime. We got 2 or 3 in a row. And that's the difference in the game. But I agree with you. You know, Johnny does not lack for confidence. And I'm glad he doesn't. Because I tell Tiger, does Johnny stop shooting? Because I'm trying to turn Tiger, you know, into where he banged those 2 threes in a row. For us to get to where we want to go, like he's got to have the same swagger on offense that Johnny's got. You know, that Jaime has it as well. So I agree that they have it, but that's because I think they believe in themselves and they're talented kids.
You were pointing to the crowd at the end of the game.
Yes.
Anybody special?
No, I'm just thanking the students, everything I can to thank our students. You know, college basketball is all about the pageantry. It's great that it's back, and I appreciate all the donors. But the students are the ones that bring excitement. They stand, they go nuts the whole game. Here, I'm just going to try to continue to thank them and engage with our student body. We had 2,000 kids, I don't know if you know this, outside all day. Then I was passing donuts, then Martin and Josh brought them pizzas. And you got to get your students here because the traffic stops everybody else. The students can walk.
And did you ever imagine it would be, when you came here, it would be this full, this loud? 'Cause it hasn't been like this in a long time.
Wait, so you would know that more than me. I did, because to me it's UCLA, this is how it should be. You know, so, and it's hard on TV, but you're talking, I'm a basketball guy, so I've watched games from Paulie my whole life. After I got home from my game, so, you know, especially Ben's a good friend of mine, so especially the college coach. But even Steve is a friend, so, but I'm pretty close with Ben, so I've been watching. So it's hard for me to say how this is been. But what's it? I'm a movie guy, so Field of Dreams, right? If you're doing it, they will come.
Thanks.
Thanks, man. Hey, Ben, I was wondering, what's going on? Nice suit. Ben got dressed up.
Not to your level, but I'm trying. Jalen, I don't know if you dress, I don't think you dress as Jalen Clark defensively at the end of regulation.
Yeah.
Huge stop, couple of rebounds, just changed.
That's just who he is. He's still getting his rhythm back offensively. He's missed 2 weeks with the concussion symptoms, and he got horrible head cold, so he's still getting his rhythm back. There's a reason everybody brings value on a real team. And in a game like that, I mean, that was a rough one for Peyton, because you can talk about like Villanova I tried to tell you guys the other night. But until, like Jeff's seen him in person, I've coached against him. Until you see the way they go after every ball when it's on the floor in the air, it's hard to describe to the team. But that's how Jalen Clark goes after every ball. You know, you got to have a guy like that. You know, so I love LA. My family's happy. I couldn't love it here anymore, but I had to have him. When I saw Jalen Clark, you know, he got a little Bearcat written on him, so Jeff, I had to have him. But you know, got to have at least one of these guys, man.
All right, thanks, man.
All right, guys.